we'll be comparing these two buildings and seeing what differences affected their pricing.
But it is very crazy how similar they can look, and then also to how great they can look, but how pricing can be so different.
Welcome back, Pack. This is Adbeel and Sarah from WolfSteel Buildings. I almost forgot your name.
Well, we actually have a really special one for you guys today. We're actually comparing two 30 by 50 Texas metal buildings with lean-to porches.
But what makes these 1,500 square feet buildings special?
Well, actually, these buildings are a block away. They're in a new neighborhood in Midlothian, Texas. It's a father and son duo, and they actually just moved from California into the big state of Texas.
Welcome y'all to Texas.
Welcome y'all.
And well, actually that whole neighborhood, we're actually building 2 more buildings in that neighborhood this upcoming month. So it's kind of unique, that whole neighborhood of
like
Midlothian.
A whole street.
Yeah, it's like that whole street we're building for the whole neighborhood. Beautiful homes, by the way. And so we'll be comparing these 2 buildings and seeing what differences affected their pricing.
All right, well, let's check them out then.
Everything started with our client, Trevor. I'm gonna actually break it apart, but I have a list, so I can't memorize these. So you're gonna be seeing in the background this project, so enjoy. This building is a 30 wide, 50 foot long metal building. It has 16 foot to the eaves. Those 16 foot are ladder legs. I highly encourage you to check out our tour video for this project, even our other project, which is also a 16 foot leg. But these ladder legs really are highly recommended for anything 16 foot and greater. And it also has the vertical wainscot siding. So basically it's 2 colors on your walls to make that wainscot look, it's very aesthetically pleasing. We do have 2 12 by 14 roll-up doors. So these are the commercial chain hoisted doors that we have in the front. And we have 2 8 by 8 roll-up doors on the side. On that same side, there's also a service door that gives you, and if you notice, they're all in one side, which is what is closer to his home. Under that is also the 20 by 50 lean-to. So this lean-to has those cedar posts as there's columns to support the lean-to roof, and it's spectacular. Those are 8 by 8 cedar posts, so they're actually very thick, which really blends in very well or connects very well to such a tall building. So it was totally worth it in the sense of making that connection, because the cedar post also, his home had some cedar accents to it. So it was really good to make it.
It tied it all together.
Tie it all together,
yeah.
There you go. Now the building also had a really cool residential gutter system. He had different colors for the gutter as well as the downspout. So if you really want to check out that video, we have a specific video about that. Check it out on our channel. And the overall price for this building is $56,958.30 for everything. Now, we didn't do the concrete for this project, but that would cost you approximately $24,383.
It's a really amazing building though. I feel like it's really pretty. I love the cedar posts, don't you think?
It's a killer building, right? Well, right after Trevor bought it, we received an inquiry for his father, or actually from his father, Owen. And as the saying goes, Like son, like father, or how does that go?
No, it's like father, like son, but it's
Oh,
like
yeah, true.
opposite this time.
But this case, it was the opposite.
So Owen's building was very similar to Trevor's building. So same thing, I'm gonna just run through it real quick. So this was a 30 feet wide, 50 foot long, 16 foot tall metal building. This also was A-frame vertical, and also the sides were all vertical. He just didn't get the two-tone like Trevor. And then he had two 12 foot wide, 14 foot tall residential non-insulated overhead doors. They also took up pretty much the entire front, so it made it very big and beautiful and opened whenever he opened up those overhead doors, which I'm a sucker for overhead doors, I'm not gonna lie. And also he actually painted all of his doors to match his house. So all of his garage doors he did paint to match his house. He has a 12 by 12 overhead door in the back, which creates the ability for him to drive through and also to open the two big ones in the back one and just let that air flow.
I actually really liked it because I was hanging out there with Owen a couple of times, and like just having that breeze, like there was, it allowed a lot of airflow. So something that I actually will start recommending sometimes is put in a door so that you can have like the airflow.
Even just a small little one, you know what I mean? Even if they have a little small one on the back, why not? Actually, he has an 8x7 roll-up door on the side as well too. Now a little bit different, he has the actual 48 by 84 heavy-duty steel door, which that's also something that I really love about his building, is that he did the overhead doors and the steel door.
Yeah.
That was like a cherry on top of the ice cream. There is a 15-foot wide, 30-foot long lean-to on the left side of the building. The porch style look, he wanted to make sure there was no base rail where the legs came down, so we did end up adding headers in there so we could remove that base rail, and he had nothing where it was like, you know, in his way, it was just the legs.
We also like special anchored it, so there was angle iron welded onto it, and that's where we used the wedge anchors to anchor it down.
Yeah.
So we did a special work there for those to remove the base rail. Check out the tour, it's all there as well.
Yeah. Now he was gonna do Cedar Posts, right? Or is he doing anything? Because that's the only thing I was kind of bummed out about. I was like, dang, you're not doing Cedar Posts.
I believe he's gonna be encasing, because you can always encase it. Yeah, cover him up. You can always encase your posts in the future. That is definitely something doable.
Yeah.
And so he will be encasing. I did notice, I believe that he did mention he was gonna be doing that.
And then this building also has the residential gutter system as well too. So this building is $57,622.08. And then also the same thing with this one, this concrete was not done by us, but if we did do it, it would be an approximate $20,178. And not gonna lie, no offense, Trevor, but I think I like Owens better.
You like
I
Owens
think
better?
Owens, I like it better. Definitely if he encases it, I think I like Owens. No offense, Trevor.
I'm a huge fan of Trevor's. Well, I'm a huge fan of both.
Yeah.
I think they each have different features that made each one special, but
You can't wish wash, you gotta pick one.
I really like Trevor's because of the gray and white. Like it just
true.
really just stood out. Like you drive by and it's like it's a building that stands out. And then Owens, I like a lot of the features, like the overhead doors, which is really nice on it. Yeah, I guess it just depends on preferences, right?
Taste.
But don't hate me, Owen, and don't hate me, Trevor. I'm just giving my honest. I'm kind of balanced out there. Family usually looks alike, and in this case, so do their buildings. At first glance, they're very similar.
They are very similar, but the thing is what's very different about them is their price and why.
Yeah, so there's 5 factors, and we're actually going to talk about those because that could really help you to determine, where can I save costs and what features you kind of like, and what you could be looking at.
Kind of like a give and take. Like what can I take and what can I give in a way? Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you have a budget, and I think that's very important to really understand what can really affect your pricing. And so what really affected these buildings' pricing, we're going to actually mention 5 factors of those. So number 1 is a cedar post. Trevor has a cedar post on that lean-to, and Owen does not. But doing the cedar posts, first of all, those are 8x8 cedar posts, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, 9 to 10 feet tall.
9.
So those are pretty pricey. And then the base where we anchor down to the concrete, that base is pretty pricey as well. So, and then obviously just the work to connect it and really plumb it out and square it out, all of the posts. It takes a little bit more extra labor than just our normal tubular metal construction. So overall, that really did affect the pricing, but it was also aesthetically very good. Like it really made a difference. But that is a factor, you know, it's a luxury that costs. And number 2 is the top of doors. So Trevor did have the roll-up doors. So those tend to be more cost effective. They're typically made out of like steel. And Owen has overhead doors, which, if you're ever hearing the word garage doors, you can actually have a roll-up door or a overhead sectional door, and they are completely different. The roll-up doors, I don't recommend it for insulated buildings. They actually give you no R value, and they are not fully sealed. There's usually a opening on the top, and then even through the corrugated metal of the roll-up, you can have a lot of air penetration. And so if you're insulating a building, I mean, the number one thing you're trying to do is seal it, so there's no air penetration to be able to have thermal control. So in this case, the overhead doors seal very well. They're typically more pricier, and in this case, they are more pricier. However, these overhead doors were not insulated. Cool thing is there's different ways to insulate an overhead door in the future, if that's something you want to consider. So that was a big factor. Also, Owen has the nice 48-inch by 84-inch steel door. Super heavy duty. Something, if you're concerned of people breaking in, or more for like security purposes, steel door is the way to go. I believe Trevor went with the mobile home door. It's a little bit more of the cost effective, and it's a great door. It's actually very, very common in the tubular building industry. But I do want to mention something. So mobile home door is actually cost effective in the sense that it doesn't really have a strong door jamb around it. It's really basically aluminum. And so we've been finding that if you spray foam your building, it actually can put pressure onto that frame, and then you have troubles opening and closing the door. So we actually are not going to be selling the mobile home doors. If you have spray foam that you're going to be getting, we won't recommend it, or unless you want to take the risk of that.
The fourth one is also to the wainscoting. So Trevor has the two-tone. So two-tone wainscot, same thing. We kind of say two different things. But so he had the color pewter gray, and for the two-tone, and then it looks like Owen just has his whole building pewter gray with the black trim, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so with wainscoting, it is an additional cost because it's actually more labor to do that. And then also too, it comes with additional trimming around where the two colors actually meet. More for leaking, and also make a more seamless connection. There you go, thank you, I appreciate that. So you will find more of a pricing, an up price on that, because again, you got extra material that comes with it, and also to more labor. And then the biggest difference is that the length of the lean-tos. So Owen doesn't want the whole length running his whole building, but Trevor, he had it up to 50 foot long. Yeah. And then Owen had his 30. So that's a big chunk. I think that's like 20 foot. Yeah, that's an additional like 20 feet that he had his going. So that makes a big difference in price. But it is very crazy how similar they can look, and then also to how great they can look, but how pricing can be so different. That's honestly huge.
And if you really compare the pricing, there's not much difference, but they could have gone differently if they were pretty, like in the sense that some did the vertical and one didn't do the vertical, but went with the overhead door. So there's so many pricing factors that can really affect the pricing of your metal building. So there's a lot of education that needs to be done from our side to really help our client to be able to get the right building that fits the budget. So these two building projects were very, very fun. We really enjoyed that they were like right down the street from each other. They were really cool family. and they were just pretty close from our shop, from our office. So we really enjoyed it, and they heard that Texas, everything was bigger in Texas, and they made sure their buildings, you know, aligned with that.
Oh my gosh. Well, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Now you guys can see how little details can affect the pricing of the building, even the look of the building as well too. And you guys, this won't be the last you see of this family or this street as well too, because we actually have 2 more buildings that we're going to be putting up in, I think, the next month, right?
Yep. What is it? We're in
July.
July, yeah, so we're in August, correct. 7.
So make sure you guys stay tuned and like and subscribe.
See you guys in the next one.